Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the University of South Carolina. My name is Joan Gable, and I am the provost at the University of South Carolina. It's my pleasure to have you all here today. We're thrilled to share our enthusiasm and good news with you this morning. Let me begin by extending a warm welcome to all of you and thank you for coming here today, and in particular to all of our city and state officials who are here, as well as members of our distinguished business community. And I'd like to specifically acknowledge two of our Board of Trustees members who are here today, Hugh Mobley and Tommy Cofield, and Joe Reynolds, who's here from the USC Development Foundation. Thank you all very, very much for coming. Innovation is an essential and integral part of the university, but the grand opening of the Innovation Center fulfills a next step in our vision of a public-private partnership and facility that's now located within the heart of the campus community. We're really fortunate to have an exceptional partner in IBM, one of the world's most respected technology companies. This public-private partnership allows USC to provide a unique student experience in advanced technologies and data analytics and more. And those areas cut across multiple disciplines on campus, in our classroom, and in our research. A direct collaboration with an exceptional company like IBM allows our faculty to study real problems and our students to have real-time experiences and do applied research. They will have access to IBM mentors in partnership with faculty as they create and expand new opportunities across the USC system. This opportunity will inspire our students to expand their areas of study and will give our faculty new tools in the classroom. It'll help our campus community stay current and innovative. And the Innovation Center will also be a rich research environment for our students and faculty and provide a competitive advantage for those students when they seek employment upon graduation. Information technology is a rapidly changing field. We want our students prepared for what that field expects of them today and for jobs that don't even exist yet. We want our faculty on the leading edge of research questions today and on research questions that we haven't even discovered yet. And these types of partnerships, and in particular this partnership with IBM, is how we're going to do that. So you can see why we're very excited to have you here today and why we're very, very honored to be able to discuss this with you. President Pastides is a passionate advocate for creating student experiences at a superior level at the university, and he's been a tireless leader in the development of key, innovative public-private partnerships designed to enhance the university experience. He's here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to present President Harris Pastides.
Well, thank you, Joan. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, friends. Let me start with a question. Where did the Hardys go? I was speaking to Mayor Benjamin earlier this morning, and he said, I'll never be able to come to this site without thinking of the Hardys that was here when I was a student and, in fact, student body president. We won't ask him how many burgers he had here, though. So here I am today wearing a garnet tie and a blue suit. We are a garnet and blue university today. I almost said garnet and black and blue, but I don't like the black and blue going together, so Garnet and Blue University. Thank you, Joan. Indeed, this center, this new center, is the realization that whenever it's appropriate, the University of South Carolina will leave the ivory tower to get down to Main Street, or Blossom, or Assembly, as it was, for the good of our students and our communities. This is a great building. Make no mistake about it. The only thing wrong with this site is you can't see the IBM logos, which are on the other side of the building, but it is a collaborative home for IBM researchers and for students and faculty at the University of South Carolina, and that's going to raise the university's research profile. And most importantly for me, one thing is most important, that from now on, USC students will have a leg up as they become the next generation of business leaders and technology innovators. The Innovista concept is coming to a fruition. It's a concept that rewards our students and faculty and puts them on the front line of private sector innovation. Together, IBM and USC, and you'll hear more directly from IBM in a moment, will work to create personalized learning tools for both students and for educators using analytics. You all heard of analytics and big data. What is it really? Those terms are still being defined and coming together. We're at the dawn of big data. We're at the dawn of analytics. And in this building, those terms will be more robustly defined one day. I knew the train was going to come by. I made that prediction. Let me put it in simpler terms in terms of what we hope to do. We know that students learn best through individual pathways. Not every student, not every adult for that matter, learns best in the same way. Just like people respond differently to different therapies, for example. And by finding out what works best, IBM and USC together will someday be able to say that we're producing greater student success, not only in college, but in the K through 12 environment too. The possibilities have no limits, in fact. Today is also more than about the grand opening of a beautiful and new home for the Center for Innovation. And I'm happy now to invite our IBM friends to tell you some of the great things that they hope to accomplish as well. First up will be Andy Bernardine, Director of Enterprise Sales for South Carolina, an alumnus of this great university. He lived in the honeycombs. How cool is that? And then Mr. Chris O'Connor, who came down from Raleigh, General Manager of Offerings, IBM Watson Internet of Things. I know the Internet of Things is cool. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but we're going to learn more about that too. By the way, I know some of you have seen great commercials on TV about Watson, Serena Williams, Bob Dylan. How cool was it to see Bob Dylan in a commercial? Ridley Scott, Stephen Hawking, Ken Jennings, and others talking to Watson. Well, Chris and Andy, we're all wondering when the USC president will get a sit-down with Watson. If I could ask Watson anything, I'd ask him, or her, Watson, probably a female actually, I don't know. But I would ask them to help me analyze student tweets, especially the ones about parking. I'd ask about the NCAA basketball selection committee. What were they thinking, Watson? And I want to know more about Gamecock football next year. So let me know. We need to talk with Watson. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andy Bernardine.
When we were planning this event, I was told that my job would be to recap what's happened over the past 2 years to get us where we are now. And I thought, well, I can recap the past 35 years. The Hardys has been mentioned. Well, I never would have imagined as a student 34 years ago sitting on those hard, burnt orange Formica benches that were in that Hardys. The transformation that would take place around us here is truly phenomenal. There was a meatpacking plant up there. It's where Adesso is now. The beautiful honors dorms where the honeycombs were. You mentioned Laborde. If I'm still convinced I'm going to end up in the emergency room one day, and they're going to say, you have a virus we haven't seen for 30 years, and I'm going to say, well, I know where I got it. But we're at IBM are extremely proud to be a part of this transformation and renaissance. We're humbled by it, and I think you're going to find us to be very good partners, and that our relationship will only go stronger as the years go on. So to the matter at hand, what we're introducing today is we're obviously cutting a ribbon on our new space, which in December of 2014, we made a 10-year commitment to lease up to, minimum of 22,000 square feet. And today we are opening up our first phase, which is 10,000 square feet. It's a beautiful space built on IBM's digital design and agile teaming environment. So what that really means to you is it is a state-of-the-art workplace designed to foster maximum collaboration and take advantage of open space. I really hope you'll go through it. It's absolutely beautiful. I was talking to our architect, Marty, last night, and Marty said that this space here is actually the benchmark for all future spaces that we build like this. So I think we've set the bar pretty high from what I've seen here. Next weekend, we'll spend 2 days moving approximately 60 IBM professionals into the building. And hopefully we'll have the network up before they move in. The center's original plan was to serve 2 purposes. The first was to be a higher education center of competency, to meet the growing demand for higher ed applications and support services. And secondly, it was to be an extension of the IBM North American Analytics Center in Columbus, Ohio. So the past year, even though we did not have the building, we have been moving forward on several fronts. We have hired a full-time center manager who was in place on January 1st. His job is to help us drive business into the center so that we grow and manage the day-to-day things. And in fact, I think it's safe to say that if we didn't have this person in place, his name is Ron Boland, over here, we would not be we would not be in the state of finality that we're in now with the building. So thank you, Ron. I'd like everybody to give you. So in addition to the center manager, we've begun recruiting for, in several areas, we've begun recruiting for advanced analytics skilled resources to staff in the center. We begin recruiting for internships and co-ops. We're working with the university, the Darla Moore School, and the College of Engineering and Computing on analytics curriculum. We also are sponsoring an annual IBM Big Data and Analytics conference. We had one last May that drew a very large crowd of names that you know very well: Michelin, Coke, SCANA, and Mitsubishi. And we actually had a senior VP of engineering from Coke. You know, the machines they make that you see everywhere, that you press the buttons and they fill your cup. The VP of that engineering for that division, which is a huge division, was here on campus with us, learning how we could all work together to make their products better. As Dr. Pastides mentioned, we have placed the IBM logo on the building, but we've actually placed 2 logos on the building. You know, the IBM 8-bar logo is one of the most recognizable logos in the world. It's a symbol of our global reach, our technology leadership, and client service. And now I'm very proud to say it's a symbol of our partnership between the University of South Carolina, the state of South Carolina, and IBM. We've placed the logos on the building for maximum visibility. We have one on Assembly Street because we would want everybody coming in from that western gateway, coming in from the airport, to see it. And then we put one here on Blossom Street because we want 80,000 football fans on fall Saturdays to see it as they come down the hill. Folks, I can tell you from my experience, the IBM logo is a very tough, we protect that logo. And we have 2 on this building, and I can assure you there's no way we would put 2 logos on a building if we were not committed to the long haul here. We started planning for Phase 2, and you're going to hear about, Phase 2 will support some of the activities that you're going to hear about when Chris O'Connor gets up here, but Phase 2 is going to be approximately 4,000 square feet. We've got our real estate team. In fact, I really would be remiss if I didn't point out Todd Blaine. Todd, would you please raise your hand for IBM Real Estate? Todd Todd ran this project, and Todd got us in this building, and Todd was great to work with, and Todd scraped up enough money to get that second logo, so thanks, Todd. But the next phase is a 4,000 square foot build out. It's going to be for an executive briefing center where we can have conference and workshops with the university and with our other joint partners. And we'll have a new workspace area. And it'll all be built on the same design as what you'll see when you walk through earlier today. So that's where we are now. And so I want to bring up Chris O'Connor to speak, to tell you about the next very exciting phase. Dr. Bastides said that he didn't know exactly what IoT meant, and I don't really know what it means either. But it's a phrase you didn't hear much about just a couple of years ago, but it's become an industry buzzword. It's actually become an industry standard phrase. And I saw a definition, and I think this captures it very well, and it is the intersection of all the technological advances that have been made recently in things like cloud computing, mobile computing like cell phones, networking, analytics, sensors, actuator devices. You know, sensors and actuator devices are in almost everything, and they all capture data, and they all produce data that can be used. So what the Internet of Things does is capture all of that and allow us to turn that raw data into useful information. IBM's made a $3 billion investment to create an organization dedicated to building IoT solutions for our clients. And with us today is Chris O'Connor, as I mentioned, who is the general manager of the IBM Internet of Things offerings. Chris, I will not steal any of your thunder. I just want to say Chris has been here, and Chris has seen what we're doing, and Chris has seen what the university is doing, and that's why he came back here today to make this announcement that he's going to make. So, Chris?
Thank you for having me here. Dr. Bastides, Lieutenant Governor Graster, Provost Gable, and Mayor Benjamin, it's my privilege to be here representing IBM. It's also my privilege to be here around the whole phenomena of what we see taking place with the Internet of Things. And I think you've adequately set me up to explain what the Internet of Things is. So let's dig into that for just a minute or two here on what's going on. Let's look back in time, 10 or 15 years ago. And if you look back in time 10 or 15 years ago, what you saw were things. You had cars, you had TVs, you had appliances in your homes, you had machines that manufactured things. And all of these things, while electrically powered, were not smart. They just simply did what you told them to do. The driver told the car what to do. The machine did what it was designed to do, whether that was a drill or a press or whatever it did. Right? Your TV, it played television shows for you, right? So let's beam forward in time. Let's talk about what's happened, right? Inside of all of these devices, and inside all of our lives, we've started to pick up the notion that these things can tell us more in aggregate than they could before. So everybody probably carries something that looks like this. It's a smartphone. Average smartphone might have 25 different chips inside of it. Well, what do? Well, they give you your GPS. They tell you when you're moving fast or down when you're playing Angry Birds, right? It's all about the movement of the device, and the device itself tells you, here's what I'm doing, here's where I am, here's where I'm located, here's my condition, here's whether I'm a healthy device or I'm not a healthy device. And all of that information is now available. Some of us are carrying devices around on our wrist. I see a couple here in the audience already, right? It tells us how many steps we take. How many of you have caught somebody walking around the conference room and they're like, I'm not at 10,000 steps yet? Well, it's going to report you, right? It's going to tell, who's it going to tell? Well, it's going to tell, the internet that you didn't take your 10,000 steps, and when you log in that night, you're going to say, I'm 5,000 steps short, or I'm 2,000 steps short. All of these are Internet of Things devices. Let's talk about looking even further into the future, right? Or looking further into today. If you've got a current generation automobile, odds are it does something and it talks back and forth to the manufacturer of that automobile and tells it whether it's healthy or not. Just down the road here at the BMW plant where they make all the X-Series cars for the world, right? Those BMWs log in and they maintain history logs, they maintain logs of how the car is used, they maintain maintenance logs, they help the engineers make the car go better, they make the people that drive the cars be safer, they make the warranty be more capable of being administered, and all of those things are about the Internet of Things. So think of it as taking tiny computers, putting it on every physical device you can possibly imagine, and then having that data be accessible and being able to do new things such as process your health with some sort of device on your wrist, process your safety when you're out in the world, or be able to help you from a manufacturing or from an industrial point of view, be able to do that as well. And so where does this all go? And what's the vision of where this goes? Think of a young child. When a young child drops a cup, that child learns about gravity and has had an individual experience in learning. Think about a car driving down the road that slips on a particular street. All cars now have the opportunity to know about that slip as a result of the Internet of Things. So it's the ability to take information from individual things and make it widely available and be able to improve the overall environment around us at the same time. So that is the art of what's taking place around us. And I think if you go home and you look at your smart TV compared to the TV 10 years ago, you look at the thing you're wearing on your wrist that now talks about whether you made the 10,000 steps, you look at your smartphone and all the apps that you use it, you'll find the Internet of Things is around you and it's among us today. And it's in everything that we do, and it's in everything that we take place. And if you look forward in time, that information coming off there represents the opportunity to improve our lives, improve our businesses, improve our health, and improve the conditions of so many different things around the world. So for us, that's the Internet of Things from an IBM point of view. It's the business that I run, is in being able to take that information and being able to construct use cases that benefit so many different parts and capabilities. So why does that bring us together here in South Carolina, here at the university today? Let's talk for a minute about that. If you look around you and you look around the state has done an absolutely wonderful job having a technology renaissance in terms of the types of companies and the types of areas that are here. I'm going to try not to blow my cards at the same time, right? So if you look at this, down the road, Boeing, BMW, Michelin, Daimler, Volvo, right? So many different companies located here in the state, all representing the manufacturing of things. All of those companies are placing digital capabilities inside of those things, and all of those companies represent an opportunity to bring the Internet of Things to life in the types of things they manufacture and they make. So let's take this another step about why we're here. So you've got the state and its programs. Let's take it another step. You've got the university. Leading edge university in the center, in the heart of it all, that understands this phenomena that's taking place. So to IBM, it starts to become a perfect storm of capabilities that we can bring together. We have the right businesses. You have the right academia. And you have the right capabilities that you can bring together. The College of Engineering, the McNair Aerospace Center, the Center of Predictive Maintenance, all of these investments that the university has made in the understanding of the art of what's possible from the Internet of Things is starting to come together. And with IBM here, we can collaborate. We can think about advanced use cases. We can think about advanced things that we'd like to do with the world in terms of business, as well as we can think of how we can advance the students and the student populations. It gives us an opportunity to work on the actual curriculum and the curricula here at the university that we want to see students and emerging kids be able to take with them into the future, making them valuable to be competitive in the world, where the Internet of Things makes the world even smaller than it is today, by the devices and the types of things that get manufactured here and then go out to so many different places to be run, used, and have a life cycle around them. So it's very exciting to be able to come here and leverage the capabilities of the state, the university, and the curriculum coming together with IBM as a way to help make that collaboration and make those conditions ripe for all of us to benefit, and for generally the notion of the Internet of Things to be able to move to another level as well. So very, very exciting around the different capabilities we're bringing together. I'm responsible for the Internet of Things offerings, which means I make all of IBM's products and services around this. So for us, I can bring in real use cases that come from inside the state and outside of the state at the same time, around things such as the manufacturing 4.0 standards, connected healthcare examples in terms of advancements in healthcare and predictive healthcare type capabilities that are taking place around the world that we can connect with here as well as being able to work on business problems such as supply chains and demand chains, and how the Internet of Things, these instrumented devices, now can tell you different things on how you work with your suppliers and how you work with distributors around the world, intersecting the business school here and the type of different capabilities that we have at the same time. So for us, again, a wonderful opportunity to be able to do this. Our commitment is certainly to the space that you've heard described already. and the IBM community that will be built around here inside of the center. But we're going to collaborate and work to develop use cases, develop curricula, education. This will be a demonstration environment as well, where we'll bring clients from inside the state and outside of the state in terms of being able to show them the art of what's possible. And we'll be able to do solution delivery here. We'll have engineers and folks here that can actually help build out for our clients the actual solutions to get delivered at the same time. So it's a wonderful collaboration coming together. And again, what I think of as a perfect storm around the Internet of Things, the company, the state, the companies that are in the state, the educational capabilities, its facilities, and the other things that are around it from a total environment point of view. So in conclusion, I was brought here about 2 months ago, taken through the entire commitment that the university has to offer. Phenomenal set of commitments here, phenomenal set of commitments on the part of the university and the state. The IBM commitment here redoubles the efforts, and we are committed to the success of the university, the students, and certainly the state of South Carolina, and I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you, Andy and Chris. It's really wonderful to hear about this exciting innovation and the fact that we'll move forward together, springboarding off of deep ties that we already have. It's such a wonderful combination for us, and we're really excited about it. It's great news for the university. It's great news for South Carolina. I'd like to take a minute to thank the person who's been taking lead on the university side of things, and that is Bill Kirkland. If we could take a moment just to express our appreciation to him. If you want to raise your hand. And now it's my pleasure to introduce two of our elected officials who continue to be great friends and supporters of the university, great advocates for Columbia and for the state of South Carolina. We'll hear first from our Lieutenant Governor and Carolina grad, Henry McMaster, who will then be followed by our mayor, also a Carolina grad, Steve Benjamin. Lieutenant Governor.
Steve and I are qualified. Carolina grad. Well, I know exactly what IoT means. It means M-O-N-E-Y, money, 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 and prosperity, and that is exactly where we're going. I wish y'all could see how it looks from here. There's a great building behind us, but this is where the talent is out here in front. This is a great group of talented people, entrepreneurs, academics, law, business. There's probably not a better, stronger group anywhere assembled right now in the country than there is right now. And that brings to mind one of the things that Harris Pastides says all the time, and that is about how we should enter the world with an idea of no limits. And that's precisely what I see from where I sit that we're doing. This is a great, you can have nitro and glycerin together separately, they don't do much, but you put them together, you got real power. Well, here we have a very critical intersection of things that are going to take Carolina, South Carolina, into great prosperity in the future. We're on the cusp of greatness. There's not another state that has the assets and has the talent, all the different parts that we have. We have got it all. This is the intersection of innovation, business, free enterprise, law, technology, data, sunshine, and fried chicken. This is you can't beat it. And that's why people all over the country are coming to the Southeast. We've got a magnificent port. In 20 years, the Port of Charleston and the Port of New York, New Jersey will be the dominant ports on the Atlantic coast. That again, how you spell port, M-O-N-E-Y. It is the brain power that is produced by this kind of innovation and collaboration that's going to lift our state and eventually this country up to greater and greater heights. So this is a big day for the university. It's a big day for the state. It's a big day for IBM. So it's a big day for everyone here, and everyone here is playing a major role in this. So on behalf of the state, to these guests here, I bring happy congratulations, thank yous, and much encouragement, and we look forward to much more of the same. Thank you. Thank you.
I've always known that my alma mater was bold. I never knew you'd be bold enough to put two politicians on stage at the same time and give us microphone opportunities. And I'll be very brief. You get this microphone. I thought about time I spent at a French church recently. I was up there and I was speaking, and sometimes you're speaking, you start thinking you're preaching. You got the amen corner over here, and they're amening, and you're getting encouraged, and you keep going. And my friend's behind me. He says Pharaoh, and I keep going, and he says Pharaoh, and they're amening, and again he says Pharaoh out there. And I said, why'd you keep saying Pharaoh? He said, I was telling you, let my people go. In Columbia, South Carolina, we aspire to be the most talented, educated, and entrepreneurial city in America. We're dreaming big on our partnership with this wonderful Carnegie Research One University and how we can work to commercialize intellectual property to help change the lives of people all across this state and all across this world. We're so excited about today's announcement. I believe there's a watershed moment in the history of our great state. And I want to say thank you, Harris, to you and all the leaders here, because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, as we were talking about Innovista and what this meant, the incredible amount of criticism and the doubters and people who didn't believe exactly what this could mean and what this could become, it is real. It is real because of the leadership and because of the intestinal fortitude of those of you who were able to see the vision and then see it through the criticism and making it a reality. It's a big day. It's a big day, and we are so excited to be a part of it. As a local leader, the great city of Columbia, and I have my colleagues, Tori Rush, the chairman of the Richland County Council, Paul Livingston, Richland County Council, Todd Cullum from Lexington County Council. We do believe and we do agree that this is the dawn of big data. This is the dawn of analytics. This is the dawn of the Internet of Things. The sun is rising over Columbia and the Midlands of South Carolina, and it's set against a big, beautiful blue sky. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, and thank you, Mayor, and thank you to all of you for coming. This is real, and it is a new day, and now I'm delighted for you to be able to see it. Please join us for a tour of the Innovation Center. We'll be completing our event for this morning, and we'll be meeting up over there to start the tours. Thank you again for coming.